Today, we talk about the showstopper, the main event, Mr. WrestleMania, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, in his WrestleMania 12 outfit. We have to start this conversation with a young Shawn Michaels just starting out and having one of his first matches against none other than Ted DiBiase. And at the time, this was in the early 80s, and Ted DiBiase was one of the biggest heels in that time frame. And he saw something in Shawn Michaels that day. And of course, Shawn being a new wrestler was just getting different opportunities and different territories and essentially making the stars look good. But Ted was like, I'm going to use my star power today. Kind of like what Razor Ramon did for the 1-2-3 Kid when he got that shock win over the bad guy. Ted didn't go that far, but he did let him quickly roll him up and make the crowd think he was going to win, and then just pummeled him mercifully until, of course, Shawn Michaels lost. But that was a moment where it helped Shawn because he had almost beaten one of the biggest heels in the early 80s in Ted DiBiase, because Ted saw something in Shawn that day. And that's what it takes to make it. Somebody has to see something in you. But of course, Shawn would go on to have not only a legendary tag team run with the Rockers, him and Marty Jannetty, whether it was in the AWA as the Midnight Rockers, which was essentially a ripoff of the Rock and Roll Express, or I mean, you can't put it any other way. Of course, they would be champions in the AWA, and then eventually make their way to the World Wrestling Federation, where they could match up with anybody. You could put them in the ring with big guys, small guys, fast guys, not fast guys. And they were tag team specialists. And a lot of people don't know that they actually won the WWF tag team titles at a Saturday night main event against the Hart Foundation. Unfortunately, the ring ropes collapsed in the match, during the match, and they were never actually awarded the tag team titles. Then, of course, everybody remembers the breakup of the Rockers after Survivor Series 1991, where Shawn puts Marty through the plate glass on the barber shop. That was an iconic moment. Then, of course, Shawn would go on to have a legendary career, winning the Intercontinental Championship, winning the WWF Championship, winning the World Heavyweight Championship, and of course, finally securing the tag team titles, and of course, winning the European Championship as well. And they used to do this bit, which would only irritate people just to get Shawn over. They would literally, Bobby the Brainhead would tell the people that Shawn has left the building. And it was a great way to get Shawn over as a heel. And his WrestleMania resume speaks for itself. You had Tito Santana at WrestleMania 8. You had Tatanka at WrestleMania 9. You had the bad guy in an iconic ladder match at WrestleMania 10. You had moves that you had never seen at WrestleMania 11 when he went up against Big Daddy Cool for the World Wrestling Federation Championship after winning the Royal Rumble for the first time. And then, of course, would go on to win the Royal Rumble in 1996 and challenge Bret the Hitman Hart in the first ever 60-minute Iron Man match. Of course, we all know that Rick Rude and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat put the Iron Man match on the map. But not to be outdone, the World Wrestling Federation had to go 60 minutes. And I don't think you could have done it with anybody better than Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, where Shawn Michaels would capture his first World Wrestling Federation title. And then, of course, he would face Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 14. He would come back at WrestleMania 19 and face Chris Jericho, a younger version of Shawn Michaels. He would go on to WrestleMania 20 and face one of his best friends in Triple H in a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. He would face the Wrestling Machine in Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 20. He would face the McMahons at WrestleMania 22, which would lead to the reformation of D-Generation X. He would face John Cena at WrestleMania 23. He would face the legendary Ric Flair at WrestleMania 24, putting Ric Flair down. And then, of course, he would finish his amazing career with back-to-back WrestleMania matches with The Undertaker. And he had amazing feuds with not only Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, Diesel, the British Bulldog, which he won his first Intercontinental Championship against at a Saturday Night's Main Event in 1992. Of course, he would go on to beat the British Bulldog for the European Championship as well. And they would have a great couple of matches for the World Wrestling Federation title as well. He would have a great feud with Mankind that really showed a different side of Shawn Michaels and the toughness and tenacity, because you have to have that something extra to go against Mankind, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, whichever iteration he wanted to be. Then, of course, he would be in the first ever Hell in a Cell match. taking incredible bumps, bleeding profusely. Then, of course, he would go one-on-one with the Rattlesnake at WrestleMania 14 and then kind of fade away and then come back at SummerSlam 2004 and absolutely tear the house down with, again, his best friend Triple H in a street fight. And then would go on to win the first ever Elimination Chamber match at Survivor Series later that year and become the World Heavyweight Champion. Now, let's think about the second half of Shawn's career when he came back in 2004. He didn't want to win any championships. He didn't need to win any championships. He just wanted to wrestle. He vehemently disagreed with the decision to put the World Heavyweight Championship on him. That's why he didn't keep it for that long. It was on and off before you even realized he was the World Heavyweight Champion. Now, was he in the title picture? Of course, he's Shawn Michaels. But the only other titles he won were the tag team titles when they reformed D-Generation X. Because he didn't want to have any titles. He had had his time in the 90s. He had been Intercontinental Champion. He had been European Champion. He had been the World Wrestling Federation Champion. He just wanted to wrestle. Have amazing moments with Kurt Angle, The Undertaker, Shelton Benjamin, Triple H, anybody else. He had one hell of a legendary career. And I hope you enjoyed this review.